Hi, my name is Josh Mullen and welcome to episode 6 in my YouTube channel, Talent Pathways. So as I said in the last episode, today we'll be focusing on early specialisation. So leading on from the role of family members, during this episode we'll be focusing on the advantages but also the many disadvantages of early specialisation in an athlete's development, and we'll also be looking at a couple of sporting examples. So a few advantages of early specialisation is that they get spotted earlier, so it means younger athletes get the chance to have higher qualified coaches as they're being spotted earlier in whatever sport they do, which means they might be able to play at better facilities than if they were at the local club. Obviously if they get picked up at academies, they'll get better facilities, better coaches, and they'll have a greater chance of becoming a professional athlete in whatever that chosen sport is. However, there are disadvantages to early specialisation. So there's less time playing with friends. From a footballing example, a lot of children, probably a bit too young, people may argue, do get taken out from playing with their friends and playing locally on a Sunday league team to go play in academies, and they might not enjoy that as much. So it means they don't have any less social time. Got a greater chance of injuries. They're playing that sport more often. Lack of enjoyment, as I already mentioned, and they can be one-dimensional sport players. Due to the fact that they've been noticed at that sport, means that they sometimes, if they get picked up too early, have to focus on that, where they might have a range of abilities that could focus on a range of sports. And also some research to back up my points is that children who specialise in a single sport account for 50% of overuse injuries in young athletes, according to specialists. Also, a study by Ohio State University found that children who specialised early in a single sport led to higher rates of adult physical inactivity. Those who commit to one sport at a young age are often the first to quit and suffer a lifetime of consequences. Also, in a study of 1,200 youth athletes, doctors at Loyola University found that early specialisation in a single sport is one of the strongest predictors of injury. Athletes in the study who specialised were 70% to 93% more likely to be injured than children who played multi-sports. Children who specialise in early specialisation are at a far greater risk of burnout due to stress, decreased motivation and lack of enjoyment. Finally, early sport specialisation in female adolescents is associated with increased risks of anterior knee pain disorders and may lead to higher rates of future ACL tears, so as I've mentioned, injuries. So there's a picture of Eduardo, who used to play for Arsenal and he got an injury. So a sporting example. One sporting example is England Everton midfielder Ross Barkley. Here's an image of him, I think it's at school level, playing, and as you can see he's nearly twice the size of his opponents, and Ross Barkley got picked up as a young age at Everton, has been through the ranks, and now he's not as young as he was, and now the pressure is getting on it to him to perform, and I think that might put pressure on him. So another image is Tiger Woods. So there is a YouTube link here which shows Tiger Woods as a 2-year-old playing golf on a television programme. I would advise you to watch that, it's quite interesting. Now Tiger Woods has had his up and down in his career and he's currently struggling with getting back on track due to personal issues at home. But he might have been snapped up too early by having talent at a very young age, and the peak of his career was at the beginning of his career, and now he's not being as successful. So there are two images that you can, but there's loads of images out there you can focus on. So overall, during this episode we've covered the topic early specialisation in sport. We've looked at both the advantages, disadvantages and given sporting examples. So on to next episode now. Next episode we'll be analysing the transitions athletes have to undertake during their sporting career. So before the episode, just have a think about the transitions that you've had to take either at school or in your sporting career, and whether they've been good transitions or bad. And also one piece of text that you could read before the episode is, we'll be talking about it in the next episode. It's a newspaper in The Guardian, and it's a link, and it's about former Southampton centre-back Klaus Ludevam and his personal problems after transition, after retiring, and it's an interesting article to read, so that's on The Guardian. So there's some references. And thank you for listening. Any questions, please comment below.